Today we're going to start this painting using black gesso. From the horizon line down, I want it to be all black. Then we're going to put a little indication of some mountains up here towards the top. I mixed some linseed oil with some titanium white, and we're going to paint the top half with that. I'm using a 1.5 inch brush, and I'm applying phthalo blue to the sky. I always like to see it a little darker towards the corners and towards the top, but as you can see, it gets lighter towards the bottom, and there's inconsistency, so you'll see light patches and dark patches. This makes the sky look more realistic. Right now I'm adding a little bit more titanium white. I want it to be a big fluffy cloud. With a 1-inch brush, I'm applying a mixture of cadmium red and titanium white. Using titanium white as the base, I'm also mixing violet, cad yellow, and again cad red to come up with orange colors, violet colors, and yellowish colors, and pink. So it gives me a lot of variations for this sky. With this painting, I wanted the clouds to look a lot more realistic. So there is a lot of blending, adding more paint, blending, adding more paint, adding different colors until I get it just the way I want. I'm applying most of the paint using a 1-inch brush. I'm using a 2-inch brush to blend it out. To give the cloud a nice shadowy effect, I'm adding phthalo blue. I want this to be a little bit more vibrant, so I keep going back and adding more color and defining the shapes, and then of course blend them out with the 2-inch brush. There's a small mountain ridge in the distance, so I'm using a small flat brush, some phthalo blue, and mixed with a little bit of violet, and I'm adding that to the painting. I'm using a palette knife with some phthalo blue to add detail to the mountain. Then I'm going to go back with some titanium white to add some snow. Just let the palette knife lightly touch the surface of the canvas and let it break. That gives it a nice snowy effect. With a small brush, I'm adding phthalo blue to the base of the mountain ridge. Now some titanium white. And we'll blend it together to give it a misty effect. I mix some phthalo blue with some titanium white and a little bit of cad yellow for these trees in the background. I'm also using a number 2 fan brush, and virtually I'm just going straight up and down to make a lot of trees back here. For the snow, I'm using a 1-inch brush and some titanium white. With the same fan brush, I'm adding another row of trees right in front of the first one. This one's going to need to be a little bit darker because it's a little bit closer. With my 1-inch brush, I'm adding more titanium white for the snow. Now I'm using a fan brush and some titanium white to add some highlights in the snow. That way it gives it some variation. With a small flat brush, I'm adding violet to the bottom base of the snow. This is going to be used for the water. The black part of this canvas has a light coating of linseed oil. I'm going to use my 1.5 inch brush, dip it in titanium white, and pull it straight down so it goes right through that violet. Blend it together and you have a reflection. I'm using a palette knife and a small bead of titanium white to cut in a water line. Most landscapes have trees, so in this case, yes, we're using a flat brush, some lamp black, and a mixture of burnt umber till you get it the way you like, and just gonna go ahead and draw these trees in here. To make branches, I'm using a number 2 liner brush. I added a little paint thinner to the paint to make it nice and thin so it goes on nice and easy. Helps for detail. Thin paint also is easier to apply to thick paint. Sometimes the thick paint just doesn't stick. For me, trees in a landscape are like a window effect. People love to look through the branches to see what's on the other side. This also helps to add depth, so it gives your painting a more three-dimensional look. I'm using a fan brush to paint these pine trees on the other side of the painting. I'm using a 1-inch brush with some titanium white thinned out with some thinner to add some shrubbery. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for your support.